In today's video, I'm going to explain to you the best practices on how to purchase crypto and store crypto safely, explained by a chartered accountant. I used to consult for cryptocurrency and blockchain companies, and even though crypto opportunity is huge, it also attracts a lot of bad actors, scammers, and fraudsters, and I want you to be able to invest in crypto and Bitcoin safely and do it in a way where you're protecting yourself, your money, and your investments. If you're new here, my name is Alice. I'm a chartered professional accountant. I used to consult for companies on the NASDAQ and the TSX, and I also worked as a corporate controller for multiple SaaS companies. So do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin is a virtual currency. All coins are a little bit different, but most coins, at least the coins I'm going to refer to, do use blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is a public database of records. It's public. Why is it public? So virtual currency such as Bitcoin is held in a wallet, just like how physical cash is held in a wallet. But the difference between your physical wallet and crypto wallets is that crypto wallets have private and public key pairs. So think of private keys like a password and think of public keys like an address. So if I wanted to send you Bitcoin from my wallet, I would have to send it to your cryptocurrency wallet, right? I would need your address, your public keys, and in order to make the transaction secure, so I need my password plus your address in order to send you Bitcoin. And if you wanted to accept the Bitcoin that I sent you, then you need to decrypt or unlock the transaction using your private key, your password. And this transaction will then create a record onto the blockchain ledger. Okay, it's uneditable, it's a permanent transaction, and they're stored in blocks that are linked together in a chain, thus blockchain. So if you go on any block explorer, you can search up transactions from a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, right? They're permanent transactions, not editable. Now, why does this matter? This is the biggest takeaway. If you can take one thing away from the video, it's this sentence that I'm about to say. When a person like yourself, you say you own crypto, you own the password that gives you access to the virtual currency that's stored on the blockchain. The actual crypto never leaves the blockchain. To clarify, the actual crypto is stored on the network. This is a really important understanding because it's going to justify some of the things I'm about to explain when it comes to protecting yourself and storing crypto assets. Understanding how crypto exchanges work and doing research on crypto exchanges. A crypto exchange is very similar to a stock exchange or a broker, but it's less regulated. So you log into your own account, and instead of giving you stock, you transact with the exchange and they give you Bitcoin. And you're transacting, your American dollars, they credit your account with Bitcoin or any other crypto that you buy from them. But here's where it gets tricky. Depending on the exchange, a transaction might not happen on the chain until you transfer it out into your own wallet or transfer it out into a wallet. A couple of things about exchanges and how they work. Remember that exchange is a business too. So they need a certain amount of coins for operational purposes, because if somebody withdraws a coin from the exchange, they need to be able to fulfill that transaction and actually send a coin to that person. But if you're buying, generally, they may credit your account with 1 Bitcoin, but there might not be an on-chain transaction depending on the company. It's very similar to how if you deposit $100 in your Bank of America account, the bank technically owes you that money and records that as a consumer deposit in their internal ledger. And that's what they show you when you open up your bank account app. You see $100. What that actually means is that Bank of America owes you $100, but you trust that you're entitled to that money because banks are highly regulated, it's very secure, the government is involved, they've been around for a long time. In the early days of crypto exchanges, in their operations, it was all very highly unregulated. Now there's something called proof of reserves, which is a process that crypto exchanges have to go through to prove that they can back user deposits on a one-to-one basis. This is very powerful and important. So when you do research on exchanges, make sure you find one that's reputable. I believe the only exchange in the world that's publicly traded right now, the big one, is Coinbase, which means that their financial statements and their internal controls have been audited and signed off by a company like Deloitte. What this means is that Coinbase has opened their books their financials, let some really smart people go through, take samples, do testing to make sure everything on the statements is stated accurately on a material basis. Protection mechanisms. So when you sign up for an account on a platform such as Coinbase, there will be protection mechanisms in place, including a reputable exchange will ask you for a series of questions about your identity. Okay, they'll also have anti-money laundering guidelines, and make sure you set up two-factor authentication using Google Authenticator. If you're brand new to investing, I highly recommend reputable coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and start with those until you're more comfortable in investing in alternatives. You can see from this pricing chart here that it has fluctuated a lot. So there's a lot of pricing volatility. And if you don't have the risk tolerance for it, it can be very stressful for people. If that's the case, then you could consider safer investments. So most exchanges have very user-friendly interfaces. The actual purchasing process is very simple. Again, you set up an account. If you use a reputable exchange, it should be user-friendly, setting up an account, know your customer. You have to verify your identity. Set up two-factor authentication. You may also want to consider setting up a secure email address, but in my opinion, it doesn't really matter as much if you're going to be using cold storage, which is what I'm about to teach you. And ironically, the buying and selling part is not that hard. If you've ever bought stocks before, it's a similar process. And if you're interested in a step-by-step tutorial on how to actually buy crypto, then please let me know. And I'm happy to make that video for you guys. The complex part, ironically, isn't in the buying or the selling. It's understanding how the technology works, and most importantly, after you buy, the safe practices to make sure that you don't get scammed. Now, after you buy the coin, you're gonna have two options. You can leave the coin with the exchange, or you can transfer it out into your own cryptocurrency wallet. If you leave the coin on the exchange in your trading account, you are basically relying on the exchange's custodian services to keep your coins safe. It's generally not recommended to keep coins on exchanges for best practices. I explained a little bit about the risk of exchanges and how complex their operations can be. Exchanges are very big companies running very complex operations with millions of customers. Just the fact that they have to stay liquid to facilitate trades, that even if they do go through the proof of reserves concept and prove that they've safely stowed away and held away customer balances, they're still susceptible to theft and hacking, and the whole system could get hacked at any time. You never know, right? Like websites get hacked, customers get hacked, companies get hacked. It's a thing. For those two reasons, I would really caution people from keeping coins on an exchange until you're ready to transact. Let's talk about wallet types. So there's custodial wallets, which are wallets that are held by the exchange, which means that you're putting the responsibility in their hand to manage your private keys, which is not really the best or smartest thing to do if you want to protect yourself first. And then there's non-custodial wallets. So there's hot wallets and there's cold storage, and cold storage is the gold standard. Hot wallets are internet enabled. You're connected to the internet and more susceptible to theft and online attacks. So I actually don't recommend hot storage. I highly recommend cold storage. Cold storage is not connected to the internet. There's less risk of being compromised, and it's by far the safest and most secure form of storage. It becomes your responsibility. When you leave the coins on an exchange or even with a hot wallet, you're relying on the controls of that exchange, and you're relying on the company to keep it safe for you. And again, risks, system hack, asset mismanagement. The biggest con of cold storage is that it's slightly more inconvenient and it becomes your responsibility, which could be a con if you are kind of an irresponsible person. Okay, so if you lose the recovery seed, you might never be able to get the cryptocurrency back. But hey, it's your money, you're an adult, you should be responsible for your money. So the two gold standard brands are Trezor and Ledger, and I recommend not buying cold storage devices from Amazon or third parties. So if you guys get a Trezor or a Ledger, make sure you buy them directly from the manufacturer's website. Trezor.io or ledger.com. Don't buy from anywhere else. Because I've heard, in working in the industry and knowing some people that are in the crypto space, that people have bought compromised devices from Amazon before. So do not buy cold storage devices from anyone that's not directly from the manufacturer. Once you get the physical device, you're going to be prompted to set up a PIN. This is like a PIN card for your bank card. And there's also going to be recovery seed. This is 12 to 24 word code that backs up the actual physical device. The recovery seeds are very important, so make sure you protect those recovery seeds. Some people write this down. When I bought my Ledger, it came with 2 pieces of paper where I could write down the recovery seeds. And the recovery seeds are very important because it's how you recover your access to your addresses. It's basically the backup to the backup. Never take a photo of your recovery seed with your phone. Never send it to someone because you don't know where photos are going these days out onto the cloud. Same with messages, WhatsApp. Like none of that stuff is really secure if it's going onto the internet. You never know. The most secure way is if you're over paranoid and you are worried about the ink on paper fading, you're worried about your house getting on fire, then you can write it down into one of those steel wallets that people have purposely made for writing down recovery seeds, where you can put the piece of paper into a fireproof metal safe. What we talked about just now with cold storage is single sig, and it's more than fine if it's done correctly. Multi sig is more appropriate when there's multiple key holders. So if you and your buddy or your business partner had a company, you guys went in 50-50 and that company owned crypto, then multi-sig may be more appropriate in that case, right? To prevent one person from running off with all the crypto. Multi-sig can get more complicated. It just means that more people are required in order to access the coins. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. And if you guys have any questions about cryptocurrency, or if there's any other areas or topics of crypto that you'd like me to talk about, then make sure you leave a comment down in the description box below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.